My name is Mike. My channel is MDH5169. Thanks for tuning in to the video today. Today, obviously, we're going to talk about my 2001 Chrysler Prowler. Give you guys a little bit of history on the Prowler if you don't know. These were only manufactured from 1997 to 2002. They originally started out as a concept car that made it into production. The original design was done by Chip Foose himself, and kind of a neat throwback. They wanted to do a little bit of a throwback to like the 30s era car, kind of the hot rods and even some of the kit cars that you can buy today that you can make. And I think they did a really good job. The car is really cool looking car. When the Prowlers first came out, I was not a huge fan, didn't care for them, but that was obviously what, 20 years ago. Wow. And I've got to say they've grown on me now. Sorry about the train in the background. Now, I really didn't consider this as a vehicle that I would have in my collection, but I was out there, I was kind of looking around, and I was actually trying to think, well, what's a newer Chrysler product that might be a good investment down the road, kind of unique, different, or what have you. And of course, there's the Viper, which I did have a Viper for a while, but I started looking at the Prowler, and I found this one actually very close by. It was sitting on a lot. Only had just a little under 6,000 original miles, and it's just a little over 6,000 original miles now. And as I started doing some research on it, I found out this is the only one that ever came with a blue top. It's a Mulholland edition, and it's also in the middle of 2001 when Chrysler started actually manufacturing the car under the Chrysler nameplate. Prior to that, they were Plymouth, or all Plymouth Prowlers. So initially in 97 when they first came out, they had a very anemic 6-cylinder that was very poor on performance, didn't do very well. They quickly upgraded to a 3.5 liter V6. This motor, it makes 253 horsepower, 253 pound-feet of torque, which a lot of people complain and say, well, it should have had a V8 in it, and absolutely it would be awesome with a Hemi in it. I can only imagine what this car would be like with, say, a 375 horse or even a 425 horse Hemi. That would be really awesome. But the car only weighs 2,800 pounds, so the 6-cylinder, while it's still not fast, it does move the car out pretty well. It's respectable, it holds its own, and it does pretty well, and even isn't a bad sounding 6-cylinder, to be quite honest with you. So yeah, it would be cool with a V8, but it is what it is. This is the way it was made, and I'm certainly not going to do a V8 swap in it. As you can see, the previous owner did a little bit of detailing with the yellow on the motor, which I at first thought, why in the world did they do that? There's no yellow on this car. But it really kind of sets the engine off, in my opinion. The more I got to looking at it and checking it out, the more I liked it. So, sometimes you just got to look at things for a little while and kind of focus on them before you realize that it's kind of cool. Another cool thing about the car is that the front fenders do turn with the rims, as they would have to, or with the front tires, which is kind of cool. It's got a really kind of a cool nose. A lot of people end up doing the front bumper deletes. This one itself has some ghost flames that were put into it on the front fenders and then there on the hood, which I'm not a big flame guy, but they actually look pretty good. They blend in with the car pretty well. And then the only other thing that's been done is that the side windows and the back windows have been tinted, which again I think looks pretty cool. Other than that, the car is completely stock. Everything works on the car just the way it did brand new. It's a fun car to drive, but I will say in this respect, it is a very rough riding car. It is not comfortable at all the way the suspension's set up. It's just not something I would want to take any distance, which the good thing is you really can't take them any distance because there's no storage room. So if you wanted to go on an overnight trip, it's not going to happen in this car. If I had to go on an overnight trip, I need to go by myself because I would need the passenger seat for my luggage. So it's very small inside. I'll take you guys around and show you inside. But with the top up the way it is, as you can see, there's just not a lot of room. Those seats are all the way back. There's not a lot of leg room. It takes some effort to crawl in and out of. The doors, another thing is the doors only open that much. So getting in and out of it is an adventure. But the car's fun. It's just a lot of fun. It's fun to drive. You get a lot of looks. You don't see a lot of them out there. You see a few at car shows every now and then, but you just don't see a lot of them out there anymore. And that's what I think is so cool about it. I will go ahead and put the top down, and when I do, I'll take a shot real quick of the trunk, because everybody thinks, man, it's got this massive trunk. You know, look at that thing, it's huge. It's not huge, there's nothing there. That's why these things were sold with optional trailers you could pull behind, so if you did want to go on a trip or do something, you could actually take stuff with you and be okay, which I don't have the optional trailer, so I guess I'm kind of stuck. So anyway, let me go ahead and get the top down, and I'll get the trunk open and show you guys that. Okay, so that is actually the trunk. As you can see, you wouldn't be able to fit very much in there. Maybe like some clothes if you laid them flat, or paperwork or something like that, but there's just not much to it. So, you know, basically, if I took the top the rest of the way down, it would just fold back down into there, and then close the trunk, and then you drive it around in convertible mode. Which, with it in convertible mode, it is a little bit more comfortable. I can sit up a little straighter. With the top up, I kind of have to hunch over a little bit. I really can't completely stretch out. You know, and I'm 5'11", I'm not real tall, but it's still just not the most comfortable. Like I said, there's just not a lot of room in the car, but it is what it is. It wasn't made for a daily driver. It wasn't made for a comfortable road trip car. It was made just to look cool and be cool, and that's exactly what it does. Alright, so we're going to take this thing out for a little drive. The reason that I'm not taking you guys out with me and putting the top down right now is audio. And I don't know how well the audio is going to do here like this. I'm going to try it and see what happens, but it seems like my audio has just not been as good lately on the GoPro. I'm trying to work it to where I can have an external mic and try to get that working, so I'm hoping to get that working in the next week or so I will have better audio for you guys. But if not, this will be another Corvette video where I have to dub everything over and just narrate as I drive this thing. But we got almost well, actually it's a full tank of gas, so we can actually take this thing out and have a little fun with it and see what it'll do, and I can kind of show you how it pulls and everything like that. My neighbor there, who is also a car guy. As you can probably tell, these roads are horrible, and this car only amplifies that. You know, I've got the stabilization on the camera and everything like that, but I don't know how good it's going to be. I don't know how good it's going to come out. I may end up completely chucking this video, and you won't even see it. So in that case, you know, we really wouldn't care. So if you're hearing this, it worked out okay. But maybe after we get into some smoother roads, maybe I can find a little bit of smoother road. Like this is a little bit better, and we'll take it down the freeway. That'll actually help it out a little bit. You know, the car handles very, very well. It holds the corners very well, the way the suspension's set up. But like I said, it is a very rough riding, bumpy vehicle. There's just no other way around it. It's not comfortable. And like I said, there's not a lot of room. As you can see, if I try to kind of sit up comfortable, my head's hitting the back of this bar right here. So I really can't recommend the car for anything other than the fact that it's just cool. If you want a really cool car, if you want a car that's going to be a future collectible but still has air conditioning and power windows and, you know, all the comforts and everything like that, this is a great car to have. Absolutely. I mean, I'm confident that this car, that these cars in general, especially low mileage, well cared for vehicles, will go up in value. pushing it one way or the other, upshift, downshift, and that's kind of a cool little performance mode. But you know, this car was definitely not intended for performance. It's just not. It's a cool little cruiser, and I'm going to keep saying that. It is what it is, and it doesn't try to pretend to be anything else. So there is a guy on YouTube that did a Hemi swap on one of these, and it's all kinds of a handful. He does a video where he's kind of getting into it, and it's definitely fast. And I can only imagine, like I said, at 2,800 pounds, there's not a lot of weight in these cars, so it doesn't take much to motivate them. So we made it back, sitting here in the car with the motor running. I will say air conditioning is awesome in this car. It is probably one of the best air conditionings I've ever had. The gauge cluster, you know, is kind of unique. You guys saw it. It's unique to the hot rods and the way they build the hot rods. So that's really what this car is all about. It's kind of a throwback to that. So in spite of all its shortcomings, I do think it's a cool car. Like I said, with the top down, it is definitely much better. Visibility's better. I do find as I'm driving it, of course, I've got to duck down if I want to see a traffic light or what have you. There's not a lot of window. There's a big blind spot on either side here. So with the top down, it's much better. And it's really the preferred way to drive this car. But I just didn't want to put the top down for the sound quality. For what it is, it's a cool car. I think it's a cool car. I'm going to say that a lot. Cool is kind of my thing. But, you know, it is. It's a really cool car. I think it was a really neat idea. It's refreshing when you see an auto manufacturer step away from the norm and do something different. And that is definitely something that I respect and I admire. So this was not your mainstream car. They put a lot of money into developing this car, and they sold for a lot of money. I saw the sticker on this car, and it was way up there. But you know, it's different. It's unique. It's not just your humdrum four-door gas saver, grocery getter type vehicle. So to me, that's really kind of cool. So with that, I'm going to end it on the Prowler. I do want to touch bases really quickly and just tell you guys a little more Corvette news. I guess the new ZR1 was spotted around the Nürburgring, and I can tell you, I saw the video on it, and that car is hauling ass around that ring. It's impressive. It's really impressive, and the exhaust note coming out of that thing is impressive. So I cannot wait to see this new ZR1. Thanks you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the subscribers. You guys are awesome, and I enjoy doing these videos, so I hope to continue doing them. Well, I mean, I will continue doing them, but you know, hopefully more and more people will enjoy them, and I appreciate all the views and all the support, and just more is coming. I'm gonna, like I said, I have a lot of plans for the channel. So with that, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, send me a card or note or letter or whatever if you want to. All of that stuff's going to be in the description below. And with that, God bless, take care, have a great day.